Hi, Justin.
Nice to meet
It's
you. I
nice
bet
to
you're
meet
like,
you.
oh my god, am I really have to do all this right
I know.
now?
I'm like, I have to be in the backyard again.
You're like, get me out of this backyard.
Cameras.
You want to stand? Let's stand over here.
Should I stand over here?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
He's only gonna get us.
Okay.
You're probably like, get me out of this backyard.
I know. 62 days
Oh
here.
my god. All right, you ready over there?
Yeah.
Cool. Justin here with TVGrapevine.com with Ragan, the second saboteur.
Yes.
So how hard was it for you to keep that a secret while you were even in the jury house and in the game?
It was very difficult. It was more difficult doing the sabotage than it was keeping it a secret, because I just didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize a game of people who I really loved in the game. Like when people were pointing the finger at Matt, that was very difficult, and when people were pointing the finger at Kathy, that was difficult. But I'm glad I did it because I got money
Got your
for
20
playing
Gs.
Big Brother. Right.
Now, talking about Matt specifically,
Yes.
obviously one of the big moments of the season was you guys had this great friendship, and then you found out about his lie, and then the brigade, and one thing after another.
Right.
So moving forward outside of the game, what's your assessment on that friendship and your relationship?
Well, Matt and I have a very natural friendship chemistry. I mean, we get together and we laugh and we have deep conversations. The night that he revealed the stuff about Stacy to me, we stayed up from 10:30 at night until 6 o'clock in the morning talking. So he's a great friend, and it's very difficult to discern when playing Big Brother the difference between reality and fiction. And Big Brother's not reality, but it's not reality. But I have to give him a chance outside the house. I think that Matt is a better person than his lies were big.
Yeah, got it. Now, in terms of your own lives, obviously saboteur and your job, right?
Right.
So, is there a sense of you knowing that okay, it is a game? I kind of lie to myself, but just different levels of lies. Is that how you look at it? Or?
Kind of. I mean, I think that I had to see the season, but I think I played the game with a lot of integrity. If I didn't like somebody, I let them know. If I had a problem with somebody, I let them know. And if I didn't want to be around somebody, I wasn't around them. So I had to lie about the saboteur thing because production says you can't say anything about the sabotage. And even those lies were very, very difficult for me. In fact, at the time that I found out about America's Vote and got the duty, one of my biggest, I had many meltdowns in the diary room about this, but one of the things that I said was, my game is built on sincerity and being able to look somebody in the eye and say something and mean it. And that was being ripped away from me. And not surprisingly, the wheels came off my game right around the time I got the sabotage duties.
Now, in terms of your sabotage duties, a lot of yours were message-based duties. So do you think if you had to do more that Annie had to do kind of with the lock, would that have been tougher for you to do, or were you glad that you had to do the message?
I think that the messages were certainly me putting myself in less danger in terms of being caught, but the psychological impact of the messages were much stronger than those of the pranks, like the X's on the face. They got people thinking. Like, my favorite act of sabotage was when I told the house that when Brendan and Rachel were up, one of you may actually stay in the house, because I get to see them, but Rachel getting it like, hey, well, like she's all proud of herself as if she has some type of power that's going to keep her in. And meanwhile, I know, no,
it's just a lie.
It was a false hope moment. I loved it.
So speaking of Rachel,
yes,
obviously your nemesis, kind of leaving the season. Where do you stand in terms of her? Do you ever want to see her again? Do you want to talk to her, or you kind of put it behind you and move forward?
Where do I see myself standing? Hopefully on her grave soon. So no, I don't want her to die or anything. But I think that she is a very attention-hungry person who every day in that house showed the depths of her self-hatred. And when a camera is not on her, she becomes a different person. So I think that everybody in the house, for the most part, what you see is what you got. Big Brother is one of the realest reality shows out there. And she would be an exception to that rule, I think. Suddenly, if a camera's down, then it's mousy, doesn't have a lot of stuff to say, apologetic, a different person. She knows what side her bread is buttered, and maybe she'll get another reality show like Cops or Intervention. I haven't seen her house, maybe Hoarders.
Okay. Well, in terms of the game as well, you're a big fan, and a lot of people go to tvgrapevine.com are fans. So there was one point in the game where I think 30-some days in, you actually had said, I don't have an alliance in the house.
Right.
So as a fan going into the game, don't you know that people make alliances going in the house?
Right.
So what was different about your season where a lot of you who weren't in the brigade thought there weren't any alliances.
Right. Well, the problem with where I was positioned in the House, because the brigade was formed, I think, on day 1 or day 2, from what I hear. So my closest ally in the House was Matt, who was
that was more of a friendship, or was it an alliance?
Well, it was implicit.
Okay.
You know, if you become really close friends with somebody, like Matt and I were super close friends, it's kind of implied that we'll make it to the final 2 together.
Yeah.
And then when Kristen and Hayden were put up on the block, and I realized, oh, boys are working here together, Kristen and I are having conversations about it, there's nothing that I could really do, because all of the side alliances were with members of the brigade, obviously, and you can't, people were only invested in getting rid of brigade members if they were on the block against a brigade member.
And if they were Brendan or Rachel.
Right.
Yeah.
And even then, they weren't. You know, it's kind of like I went up to Brendan when he was head of household and said, look, all of these other people will lie to you. I've demonstrated in this game, even when we didn't like each other, over and over and over again, that if I give you my word, it means something. And he...
So where do you think the game would have gone if Brendan would have actually sided with you when you made that power play and said, Brendan, let's work together. No one would think we're working together. Right. Where do you think it could have gone?
I ultimately don't think it would have gone very far because the brigade had such big numbers. And you know, honestly, I can't blame Brendan for not wanting to work with me because the blood between us was so bad at that point.
Okay. Great. Well, what are you going to do with your money? What are you going to do with it?
I'm either going... This is like what a paradox I am.
The
right?
debate.
It's either going to be a hybrid,
okay,
or a BMW,
all right,
or I don't really need a new car, but I might get like living room furniture, like new living room furniture. So it's something.
Great. Yeah. So do you think your students will be proud of you?
We'll see Monday.
We'll see Monday. Back to work already on Monday. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great meeting you.
Have a good night.